All right, so here's a quick overview of our new light computer board, whatever you want to call it. So right here we have our controller, kind of similar to what we had before. There's a few things that are different. I'm going to label this once I figure out exactly how I want to have everything set up, but I'll kind of show you what you need to know for now. Starting with our software, if we're looking at the screen, you'll notice we have our fixture map here, kind of like we did with our last board, just working our way top to bottom. I'll go over kind of what each thing is. Backlight is our lights that are above the screen, shining down onto the stage. LED bars are underneath the screen. They're just shining on the curtain, giving us kind of some color to our backdrop. Over here we have our hazer. It's our hazer, same as it was before. All these yellow ones over here are just power that's running to things. This is built into the cues, so you shouldn't have to mess with this. It's just providing power to some of our fixtures and stuff on stage. And then I'll come back to this green guy here in a second. Next we have wash and our spots. So these are our new moving head fixtures. The washes are smaller, just the circle ones. And then the spots are the bigger ones. They can just do a little more, have a little more capability. I'll go over the kind of nitty gritty on these guys in another video, since this is just kind of going over stuff really quick. Next we have our bulkhead light. So the bulkhead is above the stage, but just on the front side of the stage. So it's kind of shining down, hitting the tops of some heads, hitting some faces on the back of the stage, that kind of thing. So these orange ones are the conventional fixtures. They're just on, off, or somewhere in between those two, dimmed, but you can't change color or anything like that. They're just typical lights. And then this next row are the LEDs. So with those, you notice we can control our color over here. And then next, all these green ones are our house lights. So that is everything, including this one that is over the stage. That's why it's called stage. And then our baptistry light right here, that's just the one directly over our baptistry. These two, which are front and aisles, are the like over the chairs. So the front are the 4 or 5 in the front of the room right next to the stage, and the aisles are the ones that kind of line up with the aisles. These are the pendant lights, not the ones in like the drop ceiling. This one that says house are the lights that are in the clouds, the drop ceiling, whatever you want to call them. Again, we usually have those off during service, but if you needed to get to them, that's where they are. And then next we have our front light. You'll notice not all of these are selected. I'll kind of go over what each of these does. So stage left is our right, so it's from the stage perspective. So these lights are pointed for that side of the stage. These lights are pointed in the center. These lights are pointed on the other side. So if you had one side of the stage that was particularly dark for whatever reason, something weird happened, you could grab it and turn them up. And I'll show you how to do that really quick. If we grab this stage left, for instance, you'll notice some of this pops up. So all this is intensity levels. So we have increments of 10 here. We have a +5 and -5. And then we also have quick 0, 50, or 100, in case you need to get to those. If it's something that also has color, like these bulkhead LEDs, again, you still have your intensity here. You can control that, and you can grab a color, move it around, change it if you want to do that. So that'll work for anything that has LEDs. So that's just a quick overview of how this view is set up. You shouldn't really have to mess with anything, but just in case, then you know where stuff is. An important view is our playlist view here. So it's just like we had before. It's a cue list of each section of the service, basically. So we have our walk-in, 5-minute countdown, welcome, 3 songs. These are the ones we did this week. Prayer, bumper, sermon, and a walkout cue. And then we also have a baptism cue down here. So on our console out here, kind of how we had it set up before, we have a play button here that will, if we press it, it'll go through those cues. Just go to the next one with the timing we want it to. Right above that is a pause button right here. If you hit that, it'll go back. The reason it has a pause on it is if it's transitioning and you hit it, it'll stop wherever it was. So this kind of is the same function as that stop back button that was above our play button on our last console. So play will get you to the next thing. If everything's set up right, you can just sit there and press the play button and it'll do what it needs to do. In case something's weird, you'll notice next to each of these cues there, it says play right here. So this lets us jump around. If, say, we need to go to a baptism, instead of having to type in, go to cue 20, enter, all you have to do is click this play button and it'll transition to that nice and smooth, and then you press the play button on whatever you want to get back to and it'll jump back to that. So that makes it easier to jump around if you need to, if your play button on the console isn't going to do what you need to do. So normally how this will be set up is you have your console here, this front screen in front of us is going to be that fixture chooser. You can kind of see how everything's mapped out, what it's doing. And then this screen on the right, I know it's not in frame, sorry, but that is our playlist view that we were just looking at. So you can kind of see that over here. And if you need to jump around, you can click on stuff on that screen. So yeah, that's just a quick overview, kind of where everything is.